Alexa, play Guess Who's Back by Eminem. I don't even think that's the title of the song. Anyway, hi assholes. So I decided that I'm gonna make a short podcast because I haven't made one in like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or something like that. Topic of discussion. Well, one, Valentine's Day was this past Wednesday. It was my first Valentine's Day being single. Could I have had a Valentine's? Of course. Did I? No. And that's okay. Because, beggars can't be choosers or whatever they say, although it's really actually that anyway. I had this whole little video that I had made on TikTok regarding this because now that I'm on the other side, I noticed that there are what some may call bitter women, and a lot of people are just upset on Valentine's Day because it's either them realizing that they're alone or them realizing that they're a side chick. Now, I don't condone being a side chick at all for any purpose or reason. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. That's gonna be a never. And if you're ever like in something and you start realizing you're the side chick, just get the fuck out because it's never gonna change. But I realize that a lot of people are not okay being alone, which granted, there are some times that I'm not okay being alone because I'm a companion kind of person. I like having companionship, as most people do, naturally. I think that's naturally our thing. But the reality is, that's not always the case. So, a couple months ago, probably would have been a little bit upset, would have been dwelling, on the what ifs and could have beens and all that good shit. But this time around, I realized that if I wanted to have a Valentine's Day, I could have. But I also would have been lowering my standards and my boundaries and everything else just to have attention on one day, which if you are even in a relationship and that's the only day that you're getting attention, that there's a problem in itself. So, every day when you're in a healthy, relationship should feel like Valentine's Day to some extent. But, yeah, I was actually okay, better than I thought I was going to be this Valentine's Day, which was, helpful. Of course, my best friend, she came and killed it and got me Coca-Cola and Doritos and all types of snacks and shit to make me feel better, because when you have a best friend or when you are in a best friendship and you guys are both single, you pretty much are your men, to each other. That's just how it works when you are two women, especially two single mothers. We pretty much do what a man would do. That came out wrong. I didn't mean that. And not in that way. As in, like, we are there for each other, to make sure the other person's not feeling too down, not feeling too unloved. Okay. But anyway, I'll have to edit that out because you guys are going to take that and run with it. But anyway, so Valentine's Day was fine. It's done and over. We'll see how next Valentine's Day goes if anyone is lucky enough to be my Valentine. Because the reality is that it's a fucking privilege. Okay? And as women, we need to understand that it is a privilege to be anything to us because it is so easy. It is so easy. And you don't even have to be attractive these days. And it is so easy to have people, just in general. Any man you can get at some extent, So when you finally let one person in to be something special, that is a privilege. But anyway, that said and done. I haven't made a podcast in a while because honestly, I just have not felt like it. And my topics of my life are usually not the happiest. I mean, there's like good, within work and stuff, but I don't really talk about work. I like to keep that separate. But life-wise, it's always some shit show. And I just don't like dwelling on shit shows. I do better just pretending that they don't exist and just moving on with my day until a better day comes, and then I'll be like, oh, today was a good day. So anyway, my hair was looking fucking amazing at one point, and now these little like bangy things that I cut, they're just not it. Anyway, another quick topic I would like to go over, and I actually would like some engagement on this. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. If you are listening on Spotify, email me. Okay, the email is sorrynotsorry_podcast@outlook.com, I think. Anyway, what is the situation with friends of the opposite gender? Are we a fan? Not a fan? Is it a double standard? Like, can women not have men as friends, but men can have women as friends? Is it possible to be just friends with the opposite sex? Because I know most of you are going to say no. Most of you are going to say absolutely not. And to some extent, I would say you are correct. That is absolutely true most of the time. But there are few tiny little exclusions to that. And I think there's like been this form of taboo with it where it's like absolutely not. And I get the why nots. I get the whole idea that a man is only being friends with a woman because he couldn't be actually with her, or she's friend zoned him and he knows he can't be anything more, so he just accepts being her friend or her best friend or whatever the case is, which may be true, which may be true for some. But for women like me that actually resonate more with men, like, and I always have, this is not like a new thing for me. Even in school as a younger girl, I've always been the tomboy. I've always had more guy friends than girlfriends. They unfortunately always ruined it and became, or at least attempted to become, more than a friend. But regardless, I've always resonated more with males than females because females typically just don't like me. It's very rare that I have a female like me, or they will act like they like me in the beginning and then something goes awry. Or I just don't really relate to females because most females do and like things that I just don't. It's just not my personality. I always said that I think I was actually meant to be like born a boy because I don't relate to a lot of women. Hence why I have literally like 3 girlfriends since childhood. So I feel like in certain circumstances when a woman feels more relatable to a man, then there is an exclusion to that because we don't have any bad intentions. We're not looking at that person in any type of way. We literally are just happy to have found a guy that's not being so obnoxious, not flirting, not hitting on us, not saying all the nasty things they want to do to us, and actually just enjoy us for our quirkiness and our weirdness and our personality. And I don't know why that's so taboo that there's this idea that you cannot, for whatever reason, separate the two. And I could be wrong. You guys all could be very much right that it's not possible and that the guy's just waiting for his opportunity or the girl is just waiting for her opportunity. But do I obviously understand that a friendship can become more over time because all relationships and love grow typically from a friendship? Yes. Do I think that's always the case? No. Now, granted, there was a time where I felt the same way, where I had significant others that I was like, you can't have any girlfriends. I mean, it's not possible. They also were the type that would sleep with anything, so that's probably why. And then I was also in a relationship where it was like, you can't have any guy friends, understandably. So I get the other side of it, but now that I've been alone, I've been able to speak to other people, and I've seen guys that have no interest in me in that way and can literally just enjoy me as me. I don't have to be any type of way for them. I can just literally be myself, and that's what they enjoy. I don't really understand why it's not a possibility for some people. And I think it really still comes down to the fact that I'm a tomboy at heart. I may get dressed up for work. I may look very presentable most days, but in the reality, I'm a tomboy. I'd rather be more of a tomboy. So I think that makes, a lot of a difference, especially women that are not seeking or needing attention. There are some women that need the attention, that need the affection, that need the male something in their life. I don't need that. I just like certain personalities, and they usually are personalities of males over females. Um, so I would just like to get, your ideas on that, and see what you guys think. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Do you think that there's always an ulterior motive behind friendships that are with different genders? Or do you think it's possible to actually be solely just friends and have no feelings at all and it stay that way? So that's the question for the day. So yeah, so that's that. Other than that, life has just been lifing. The problem is I can't really talk about too much that's going on in my life because I try to keep so many things separate and off of social media. If I was to actually speak about the day-to-day life, making podcasts would not be that difficult. I could probably make like 2 a week if I really wanted to. But I try to keep things separated from social media to my real life, because that's just what I do. But on a better note, my birthday is coming up, which is, of course, exciting. I mean, it's just another year, but anyway, my birthday's coming up, and this will be also, so basically this year, this beginning half of the year will be my first year that I came into the New Year single, Valentine's Day single, birthday single, because my birthday's 2 weeks away. Nothing's gonna happen from now to then, but it's just definitely different, and different in a good way, because this has now been going on a year since I've officially been separated. And I've done a lot of lessons that have been learned, a lot of finding myself, my own flaws, realizing a lot of issues that I had that I needed to work on, that I'm still working on. Everyone's a work in progress. Don't let anybody tell you that they're perfected themselves or they're healed. It's not reality. Especially if you've been through some traumatic shit. It's not possible. But I feel like every month I, learn something new, or I adjust certain things to be a certain way so that I can be better the next month. And I think if you are growing and moving in the right direction, then that's all that matters. But it's definitely been something, especially because, I am a certain type of individual, and I enjoy having another person. I think I'm just so in the mental state of being, my brain is still wired to be somebody's something. So I almost feel like there's a part that's missing, even though I have kids and I play that role. I've always played that role for the past almost 15 years. So that is autopilot. I'm on autopilot with being a mother. I've already aced that test. But everything else, is just feels like there's something missing because I'm just so used to playing that role. So getting used to just almost playing that role for myself and giving myself all that I would typically give to somebody is very new and different. It's enjoyable to some extent because this is the first time I think I've felt slightly selfish with myself, but not in a guilt way. And I've been able to help others along the way, and have really just learned a lot about myself in the process, which has been exciting and going to help me out a ton in the future. But it's funny because everyone just automatically assumes that because you're good looking or because you have a bunch of guys or girls that want you, that everything comes easy. But when you are not easy, and when you are kind of picky with who you choose to have in your life, it's not that great. Because you have a lot of disappointments, because you hold certain people to certain expectations, and then when they're broken, it's just kind of like, well, that sucked, or that was a waste of time. But you live and you learn, and I don't think you should really settle for anything less than. If you're okay settling, if it's a temporary settlement, by all means. settle. But as far as like some permanent solution, I don't think anyone should ever settle because life's too damn short. I'm gonna be 33 in like 2 weeks. I don't have time. I don't have time to keep wasting on people or things. It's not it. So I'm just taking things day by day, meeting who I meet. I don't really go anywhere to meet anybody, so they're gonna have to pretty much just like fall from somewhere at this point. Or like I said in one of my videos, like I'm gonna have to have a road rage incident and they be the person that I'm like cursing out, and somehow they're like, oh, hi, I'm your fucking soulmate. And I'm like, cool, let's do this. But for right now, I'm just enjoying being my own soulmate. And also, soulmates are not always spouses or girlfriends, boyfriends, people you're dating. That's so far from the truth. Like, soulmates are actually friends. I truly 100% believe that soulmates are literally like your best friend. Because if you think about it, there's nobody that makes you feel as comfortable or protected or safe than your best friend. Like, there's things you would tell your best friend that you wouldn't even tell your spouse, or open up and have certain feelings that you wouldn't even tell your spouse. So I don't really believe that soulmates are solely just your significant other. I think soulmates can definitely be friends, best friends, people you meet that maybe you're not meant to be with, but you guys just vibe on a different, wavelength. So I think that's important to realize too, that when you're searching for your soulmate, sometimes you have them already in your life, or you are not realizing that your soulmate is not needing to be well, that's obnoxious. Can you turn your alarm off? But yeah, so I think that's important as well, to just understand that if you're searching for your soulmate may already be in your life. So maybe stop searching. So this is my short podcast, to keep up with the podcast. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I'm still kind of up in the air. It was just kind of a crazy idea one day, and then I ran with it, as I do with most things because I have impulsive behaviors. But other than that, I've just been kind of, relaxing, playing my Call of Duty, doing my life as I do every day. I will leave it at that. I will try to keep up with this. If I do not, for some reason, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But until then, comment below some ideas or stories. Tell me your worst dating stories. Tell me a terrible life story and see if I relate to it, and I'll put it on my podcast the next time. If you're on Spotify, just email me. The email's sorry_podcast@outlook.com. So that's about it. I hope you guys had a beautiful Valentine's Day. If you had somebody to love, if you did not, I hope you took the day to love yourself. And I'll be back when I'm back.